Hello, hello. Come on, stop. It is lunchtime where I am, so I think we're eating good today as SEGA fans. Tokyo Game Show is kicking off, I guess, tomorrow. I mean, with time zones the way they are, sometimes it's like a week ahead in some country. I don't think that's actually the case. But yeah, so SEGA had the RGG Studio Summit, and they had a ton of reveals. And man, I mean, should we just jump right into them? Let's do it. So the first reveal was Ishin. Let's check it out. I'm feeling it. I don't think there's any audio, though. I don't know why. That's a little messed up. But in any case, this trailer hit, I believe, what was that, last night. And it basically confirms that the game, Yakuza, Like a Dragon, whatever, Ishin, will be coming out in 2023. It is a remake of the original game. From the ground up, they are using Unreal Engine instead of the Dragon Engine, which some people have been reacting to. I don't know if they've been reacting to it negatively, but it definitely shows that either RGG Studio is moving on from the Dragon Engine, or they simply just want to use something that's faster for the development of these, side games, remakes, spin-off games. So perhaps that's the case, but regardless, it is exciting that we are finally seeing this game coming west. And over on segabits.com, I newsed that up. And yeah, essentially, it's coming. It's going to be coming. And I don't know what else to say about it. I actually had a lot to say about it in my article, though. Sorry, someone called me as I was recording, and it just threw my rhythm off. But yeah, what's really interesting about this is that, these games are set in the samurai era. Prior to the release of this game in 2014 for PS3 and PS4, there was another historical drama Yakuza title called Kenzen, and that came out in 2008 for the PS3. Now, you might be wondering, why are they releasing the second game but not the first one? Well, these games are completely disconnected outside of being a samurai Yakuza game, and they are separated by a couple hundred years, so it's not like it's the same character carrying over in the story. And as I said in the article, I mean, think of it like those Simpsons episodes where you'd have like Homer, but he's not Homer. He's like a villager in Greece, like it's basically something like that. Like, you're a fan of all these characters from the Yakuza Like a Dragon series, and now they're throwing them into new situations with new stories. And it's kind of I guess you could call it a fun bit of fan service. You get a new setting, new gameplay elements, but you get familiar faces, and it's fun. So yeah, I mean, in that regard, I'm excited for it. Part of me, the completionist in me, wishes that the previous game was coming out as well as a remake of Dead Souls. But, the fact that basically all but two console titles from the Yakuza series are now in the West. And let's switch to the main camera here, because I brought all my look at all this stuff. I got my fan, in case I get from the Tokyo Game Show for 6. But look at these games. We've had Yakuza 1, Yakuza 2 on PS2. We've had Yakuza 3, 4 on PS3. We've had Yakuza 5 digitally, but then they gave us that empty box. You remember that? And then here we have 3, 4, or we have 0. We have Kiwami 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just insane. 6, 7, Lost Judgment. and then this big old box for this one. So it's like the PS4 has been the home for Yakuza, and it's kind of insane to me that we not only have one more PS4 game coming, but three more out until 2024. It's insane that the PS4 has had, I think it's going to be having 11, 12, like 13 or 14 titles in the series when you consider, Judgment. And they throw in Fist of the North Star, I guess, too, just because it plays very similarly. And let's jump into 8 now. Hopefully the sound works on this one. I don't think it's working. I don't think the sound's working. But that's okay, because this one's pretty short. So essentially, Yakuza 8 was confirmed to be coming. However, it's not called Yakuza 8. It's called Like a Dragon 8. It's coming out in 2024, so we've got quite a long wait for that. And it's releasing to all the Xbox platforms, all the PlayStation platforms, and all the PC platforms. And yeah, you heard that right. 2024, and a PlayStation 4 title has been confirmed. And it's cool to me that they are bringing both protagonists from the series in, though I can completely understand why fans of Ichiban are a little thrown, because, yeah, like this game is essentially the sequel to the previous game, but they are now bringing back Kazuma, which means that, essentially he's, I guess, Tails to Kazuma's Sonic. And when you consider that Ishin, Yakuza, Like a Dragon 8, and then the next game we're talking about are coming out, it's 3 Kazuma Kiryu titles, and then one title with Ichiban in it, who was said to be the series protagonist. I mean, I'm not complaining, but you can see how it's kind of like, oh, all right, well, I got used to Ichiban, but I guess I don't really need to anymore. Now, there has been a fair amount of debate going on the internet. I mean, surprise, surprise. And it's been over the titles. So as you noticed, I've been kind of stumbling over my words, because the Yakuza franchise is now the Like a Dragon franchise, which, I mean, all right, that works. But we've basically gone, and again, I'll point behind me here, we've gone all the way up to even Yakuza 7, because in the West, or in Japan, it was, the translation of Like a Dragon 7, whereas here in the West, it's Yakuza, Like a Dragon, and they made it so tiny. And from what I've been hearing, SEGA cannot license products with the Yakuza name. Some legal issue, I'm not sure. But that means that if they called the series Like a Dragon, and actually that's right, to my knowledge, there's no trademark on the Yakuza logo on its own, which is interesting. I don't know. But regardless, when they call it Like a Dragon, they can slap that on shirts, they can slap that on statues, pins, whatever. But yeah, it's true. We have not seen Yakuza proper merch outside of like giveaway items. But I don't know. For me, I was kind of expecting it to be called like a Dragon : and then some title for the 8th game, and you almost see that kind of working, because when you look at the games we've talked about so far, Like a Dragon, Ishin. And then the next one, which I guess we'll just talk about now, Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, which has got to be the longest name I've ever seen for a Sega game, and probably a video game in general. But yeah, this game then, so let's play the trailer for that. Oh, we got sound this time, good. So this one is very clearly Yakuza side story. It's telling you what Kazuma was up to during Yakuza 7. It takes place between 6 and 8. They've said that it's half the size of a main series Yakuza game nowadays, which is kind of a cool thing to me, just because, I'm struggling to catch up with all these games. You saw the stack back there. So it's going to be nice to have a smaller title. Possibly we will see him change his hair. I'm not sure. But as people will know, he did go into hiding after the 6th game, and so we're going to be seeing the reason why he comes out of hiding. And I mean, I guess he's into guys slapping him on the back as he sits outside. That's kind of nice. As this guy talks, let's take a look at some of the comments. So I am so F Star King excited for the two new Yakuza games as well as the Western release of Ishin. I cannot wait. We have Dagan Visa saying, I still have Yakuza 6 to play on PS4. After that, I'm going to try to get a PS5 and play Yakuza 7 and Lost Judgment, which I already own for PS5. Hashtag backlog. And yeah, Tom Fun says here, it's crazy to see how much the Yakuza titles or series has blown up over the past few years. Yeah, obviously a lot of us were there. I was there. I remember when 5 got a digital release and we were like, can we please get it on disc? And it just never happened. And the game blew up and with 5, and then after that they were like, well, I guess we better start doing physical releases again. And then we got that awesome, where is that? Stack here. Got that awesome, I just love what they did with this, the Yakuza 5 like case only release for a digital title. Like there's nothing in there. I just think that's hilarious, but cool that they did it. Anyway, going back to Yakuza. Oh man, see how thrown off I am by this now? Like a Dragon, Gaiden, the man who erased his name. That's going to be coming out in 2023, unknown date, but I'm going to guess in the summer or fall, given that February we are seeing Ishin coming out. And this game is coming to all major platforms. And so this essentially means that we are getting 3 titles for the franchise at the very least over the next 2 years. And I know when the Sonic news was dropping earlier this year, people were saying, oh, it's a pretty light year for Sega because we're not seeing any RGG Studio titles. Well, here's your answer. And I mean, do you blame them for kind of spacing them out? So that was a very cool bit of news that also dropped this morning. And then the last bit of news that was dropped at the summit is that Judgment and Lost Judgment are available now on PC. You can go over to Steam and download both of them in a bundle, and it comes with free DLC, or you can get both games separately. This has long been a question for fans of the franchise and for Sega, because the actor whose likeness is in both Judgment games, his management company apparently does not allow their actors to appear in games on PCs because, from what I've heard, it's because you can manipulate the games and change their look, and they felt like that would hurt the brand of their actor, which I guess makes sense, but that's almost like saying I don't want photos of my actor online because people can go into Photoshop and manipulate it. Like, you can't escape that in, I guess, the 2020s. So, it's kind of silly. Let's check on the comments one more time just before we jump into some other news. Let's see. So we have Sabo Production saying, I'd prefer the games were called Yakuza and they never used Yakuza on merchandise stuff, like just a picture of Kiro on a shirt. But hey, business is business. Yeah. I can understand why. Like, at this point, they could just get away with it. I personally think Yakuza is a stronger name than Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon reads like bad translation to me. Like, it just doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't sound correct. I even made a tweet where I was like, "Oh, he ate like an animal. He ate like a beast. He ate it all. He ate so fast. He ate like a dragon ate." Like it sounds like you're saying, "Oh man, that guy, he ate like a dragon ate." So I don't know. Like, you're 8 games deep. Just stick to Yakuza. But whatever. It's Like a Dragon now, and who am I to? I was gonna make a joke, and let me see. Just stick with me here. Who am I to judge Who am I? I don't know. Judgement. Anyway, I've lost Judgement here. Let's see. The next bit of news is that, and this kind of sucks. I mean, it's cool, but it kind of sucks. So Radiant Silvergun had a surprise announcement at the yesterday's Nintendo Shindig, the Nintendo Direct. They were like, it's at the store now, download it, buy it. And then guess what? For a few hours you could in North America, and then they pulled it. Why did they pull it? Well, nobody knows. But the publisher behind it, Livewire Inc., responded, and they said, currently the Radiant Silvergun is not available for purchase in North America. We will respond immediately. We will let you know when it becomes available for purchase. Now, I've heard in the past that this publisher has made mistakes in putting out games without, dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's for things like ratings information, age information. So it's completely possible that they just omitted some information, published it, and then Nintendo came back and they were like, you got to pull this and put the right information in. And yeah, it is still up on the European store. However, it is absent from the US store. Now, I jumped on Twitter. I mean, I don't think I was off in saying that. I think I said that this publisher should never be publishing games again and that Treasure should never work with them again. But, I mean, to be completely honest, I work in marketing. I worked in advertising industries. We've had third-party companies we work with. If they mess up one campaign, like let's say we put a book out and all the images are low resolution, or let's say we put an ad out and there's misspellings all over it, like they are not going to get our business again. We're not going to use them again. And we might even demand compensation from them. And I just think it's ridiculous that, you have a trailer go out on the Nintendo Direct saying the game's available now, and then a few hours later it's just pulled and it's a 404 error on the page. And it's most definitely because the publisher screwed up, because I've been hearing people saying, well, maybe Treasure put out a glitchy game. But that hasn't stopped other games from going out there and, just wait for a patch. And it also doesn't really, hold any water when you consider that Europe and Japan have the game out there still. So, I personally think the publisher screwed up, and I don't think they should be allowed to work on any games ever again. So say I, the Queen of England, the new Queen of England. So, Barry the Queen. No, I'll stick with Barry the Nomad. Anyway, another bit of news, a little bit of honey. Let's see what we got. Ooh, speaking of a bit of honey, we got a Yeller Sonic they call him. And this is a trailer that went up in advance of Tokyo Game Show. They're going to have a demo available. I don't know if people will be able to play as Supersonic, but this definitely confirms that Supersonic is in Sonic Frontiers. So let's take a look at this trailer. Maybe I'll pause it a few times to call a few things out. No sound. That's okay. Ding, ding, ding. I'll just make sounds. So the first thing you'll notice is we have a new island. And this island, we can see here, it's volcanic, it's gray, it looks like the whole place burned over. And you got this beautiful magma, molten hot magma. It looks like Revenge of the Sith there. That's kind of fun. And there's Sonic standing atop looking at a volcano. I love it. Like, we just did our Sonic R episode for SEGA talking about, what was it, Regal Ruin? And I'm getting kind of Regal Ruin vibes from that. It just, I really dig the setting of that new island, which I presume is what we're seeing here, but it's jumping around. Let's see here. Hey, look, isn't that new Zelda game? Let's check it out. Right there. See, isn't that the new Zelda game? But that's really exciting because, look, there's going to be, I'm assuming it's a creature you can fly or an enemy you can take over and fly, but there's stuff going on in the sky, and as we'll see at the end of this trailer, Supersonic is in the game, which makes me wonder if you can freely fly through the air. This little bit actually gets me really excited. I didn't really notice this until doing this just right now. Let's look at that again. Whoosh, he's flying. Master powerful abilities. There's been some talk about the animation on this being really nice. And yeah, I agree. Like in-game cutscenes, that's nice. Like look at his little eyes go, whoa. It's kind of fun. So this is the big bad boss for the first island. I believe that's been confirmed. Now, what I find really interesting, and you'll see it in a moment here, is that, Sonic finds apparently the emerald, like, I don't know if it's on the top of, the emerald's on the top of his head. And Sonic already has all 7 emeralds at the first island and becomes Super Sonic. So are we going to have a Sonic Unleashed sort of situation where, you take on the first boss as Super Sonic and then you lose all the emeralds and you get downgraded and you have to get them back for the final boss? I don't know. I've also seen people speculate. I don't know why this goes on twice. It's super long. Anyway, I've seen people speculate that there might be a new super form for Sonic. I've called him Cyber Sonic. I think that would be kind of cool, where he gets all corrupted at the end, and then he gets all the emeralds, and then becomes like, I don't know, like www.sonic.com is his like new name or something. He becomes the internet itself. But yeah, exciting that they're throwing Super Sonic out there so early. They typically don't do this. If you remember, when Sonic Forces came out, Sega did the dumbest thing I've ever seen them do for the Sonic brand, and that's saying a lot. At least up to that point, it was the dumbest thing they ever did, which was they announced that you could download DLC making Super Sonic unlockable in Sonic Forces for $1.99. And then people complained, and then they walked it back and they said, it's free. And I'm like, it should have been baked in the game to begin with, dudes. I've never seen such a stupid cash grab as $1.99 Super Sonic in Sonic Frontiers. Like, for all the mistakes that game made, that was like the biggest in my opinion. But yeah, here he is baked into the game. You collect emeralds, you become Super Sonic. But something's up. I'm going to suspect that Sonic maybe finds all the emeralds on the first island and then loses them. Who knows? But exciting times are ahead for our Hedgehog. And we also have another super form of Sonic that was revealed to be coming back. Sonic Forces for mobile, which was originally called Sonic Forces Speed Battle, which makes more sense because otherwise it sounds like I'm talking about the 2017 console game, is going to have Dark-Spine Sonic appearing in the game from secret rings. And he's also going to have some flame abilities. Now, I'll admit, I am not a big-time speed battle player. I've played it quite a bit, though, in the past. So I'm glad it's still going. But as you can see here, there are a ton of characters. This is the only game, to my knowledge, where you can have Super Sonic, or Classic Sonic, Modern Sonic, and Movie Sonic in the same game. And then they've also had pop-up ads for Sonic Boom. So technically all the Sonics have appeared in this game in some form. And now we have a new super form. He does look like the hood of a car, though, doesn't he? If you've seen those custom cars with the white lines on top. Anyway. Last bit of news is that Sonic R Sagatoc has dropped. It dropped just a couple hours ago. And it's a good listen. I was very energetic. I had a lot of caffeine that day, so I was in a very peppy, goofy mood when I talked to George about supersonic racing. So that was a fun one. And then I should also call out these interviews that are going on at sagavits.com. We have a little partnership going with the Sonic Amateur Games Expo, where our writer and he's a game maker himself, Brock Crocodile's Akiat, is interviewing some fellow Sage members, submitters, including Noah Copeland, who created Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit. We also have interviews coming up with Freedom Planet and someone else, too. I can't recall. And then we've also mentioned to them that we would like them to come on for an audio podcast, and that will happen. I've just been incredibly busy. I actually had COVID a few weeks ago. How exciting is that? I finally got it. I pre-ordered it and it finally came. And I don't know. It was just, when you get COVID, you're like, you feel like shit. And so I didn't want to talk to anyone, do interviews. It just would have been a mess. not like this hasn't been a mess, right? Like this has just gone great. So yeah, overall, excited for the future of the Like a Dragon brand, as I am contractually obligated to refer to it as. Sonic Frontiers is coming soon, very exciting stuff. And then we have Bayonetta coming to Switch physically this month. Next month we have, holy crap, we have a lot of stuff dropping. We have the, isn't the Mega Drive Mini 2 is coming out next month. We got the Cyber Stick. We've got, a week later, we've got Sonic. It's just too much. But thank God for, I don't know, Sonic and Yakuza to get us out of this slump. Yeah, that just about does it. Thank you for watching my sloppy broadcast. I actually don't have any beef this week. Here, I'll bring the graphic up. Look at that. It like zooms in like it's going to be a little, maybe I'll make it really epic. Here, let's try that again. I don't have any beef this week, except for one thing. Well, my beef a few weeks ago was actually going to be some eBay stuff and some Twitter stuff, but I've gotten over it. Now that beef has been digested and it's turned into, like stuff for your garden. I don't know. But yeah, my complaint, I'm going to zoom back out here. My complaint was actually going to be about some of the people on Twitter who just go crazy, but you know what? Twitter's always crazy, so why talk about them? My eBay beef was actually going to be about pricing going up on items, but I just don't care. I don't care. So I'm happy. You're happy. We've got Yakuza, we've got Sonic, and we've got a brand new outro. No, we don't. Same one as usual. All right. Bye. This is going off the rails.